And joining us right now, great pleasure to welcome to our show today a woman who has put together the newest version of a really best-selling book. Everybody kind of looks forward to it every year, called 1,000 Places to See Before You Die. It's the second edition of Traveler's Life List. We're joined by travel writer Patricia Schultz today. How are you, Patricia?
Very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Good to have I think we might have talked to you when the last book came out, so good to have you back again.
Thanks. The first book came out in 2003, but then I think it was after 2007 I put out 1,000 Places in the USA and Canada.
That's the one we had you on.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, you've been probably busy since then doing the update, haven't you?
Yeah, but you know, what a pleasure. I mean, do I have the world's best job? But the first book that came out in 2003 really needed, I think, the extreme makeover update that it got, because things have changed so much since then, and the way we travel has changed a lot too. These are very unprecedentedly bad times for travel. Everybody's more budget conscious, and that needed to be reflected in this new edition. And there are hundreds of new places, and it's in full color now to get your juices going. And there's a free iPad app as well to accompany it. So there's a lot that's very new and very exciting about the second edition.
Yeah, that whole the app thing really took off in the last maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years since the last edition came out, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm amazed at what they can do these days with apps, and the one that we created, in fact, is so beautiful, and it really, I mean, if that doesn't get you off the couch, then nothing will, because it's over 1,000 photos, and it's also exciting because it is encouraging a travel community to come together and exchange ideas and to post tips and to upload photos of their own personal experience, to create a list so you can check off actually and count the places you've been to, and list the number of places you would like to go to. So it's pretty remarkable. I'm a new fan of the app world.
Yeah, now you can obviously see the places and even book. It's all you to book travel nowadays. I just came back from a trip out to California. I mean, you can put your boarding passes at home now. I mean, it does save you some time. I know you still have to go through unfortunately, through the whole search line, but it does save you a little bit of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't mind those search lines because, whatever I need to go to, I'd show up the day before at the airport if I had to. It's all good to me.
Talk a little bit about, since the last one came out, how do you determine what stays in, what comes out, what to put in?
Well, the original book had 1,000 places that, for the most part, have stayed in the revision because I rewrote and reorganized everything, often merged what could be 2, 3, sometimes 4 places into a single entry, and that now allowed the book to open up and accommodate hundreds of new places that I've discovered since then. So in other words, Italy, which I love more than probably any other place on the globe, I took a number of places that are found along the Amalfi Coast, and in the original book, they were done up as individual towns and destinations. In the revision, they've been grouped together as one comprehensive entry about the Amalfi Coast. And in that way, throughout everything I included in the first book, I was able to merge and reorganize and accommodate then all of these new places around the world that for example, all of the former Soviet countries, which were just barely open to tourism when the first book happened, are now getting extensive, more comprehensive, more entries, and some of them are appearing for the first time, the Baltic countries like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. So there are 28 new countries. There's, for example, Colombia in South America, for years, because of the drug problem, was just not on America's radar, and deservedly not so. But they've really cleaned up their act in a way that I think surprises everyone, and especially tourists who have been there come back and speak only in superlatives. It was one of my favorite trips recently. So there are all kinds of exciting new places, and it reflects the world and the possibilities that are available to us now that weren't maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
I think the former communist countries are realizing tourism is good for business, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. They're very happy when they see those Americans or anybody arrive. Now China, for example, is sending forth, tens of thousands of visitors that until recently could not travel either. So, yeah, the rhythms and the patterns and the possibilities of the travel world are very different now.
How about, I know Japan, I know the tourist people there were giving out free tickets to get people to fly back there after, the sad situation with, the tsunami and the nuclear accident over there. But has that been cleared up? Is that a good place to go? Or?
No, I think, to be truthful, I think that
wait a while.
Effective tourism is still very, very, very low, and understandably so. And I've left all of the original places and some new ones actually in the book, because I do think if the book sticks around for a number of years, you'll see a renewed interest of people going back when they feel it's safer and everything. But a lot of these places that are in the book, in fact, have become armchair travel pieces. The Middle East section, one of my favorite countries is Yemen and also Syria, and I really wouldn't suggest that people go there now, nor do many people want to. But they're so rich in history, and they're so, I think, fascinating to read about, that these are places that become armchair pieces. And then you've got another 900 plus places that are more likely that, will become destinations that you'll consider for your next travel destination. But it's a real mix for both, practical nuts and bolts information that will get you to the airport, as well as those places that, how probable is it that you'll get to Mongolia? Maybe not so likely, but it's still something to read about, and something that's almost like, a history background, or just to educate you in terms of what there is to see, or maybe that you didn't realize you wanted to see it, but it's suddenly, jumping off the page at you.
Yeah, I just came back from a trip to, Palm Springs area, and did some of the things that you probably would never do. We took a tour out to see the San Andreas Fault, a Jeep tour, and did a tram ride up I think it was the Chino Mountains there. So things like that, I'm sure, in your book as well. You recommend doing those kind of things when you go someplace, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Joshua Tree Park is near where you were.
Right.
California is very rich. I mean, the possibilities in California alone are just boggling. And that area just east of there, the Four Corners area, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, one of my favorite places anywhere, not just in the U.S., but in the globe. I have a very ample USA chapter, because I think, first of all, look at the size of our country. It's just magnificent. And what we have within our borders, and that's why I did the 1,000 Places in the USA book. It came to me that, I could do 1,000 places just about our backyard alone, and so I did. So there's an embarrassment of possibilities in the USA. I mean, people come from the other side of the world to see what we have here that, we get a little bit jaded about.
Yeah. Well, I know it is a limited time today, but it really is it's a fun book just to kind of thumb through, pick a place or two, read about it, and come back to it later, called 1,000 Places to See Before You Die. We've been talking with Patricia Schultz, and I know it's already going to be a bestseller again, but give the folks a place where they can get the book, a website or wherever they can get it.
Well, we have a website, 1000places.com, and you can buy the book through that. But also Amazon, your local independent bookstores, we really need to support them, and of course all of the chains. I'm happy to say that it's very easily found, so I hope everybody buys it, and happy travels.
Yeah, we look forward to having it on again when the next edition comes out. Thanks, Patricia.
Thanks.